welcome back to this exciting show on Latin cuisine. We have a new guest cook coming out, and I'm sure you can enjoy meeting her right now. Antarina, would you please come out and join us? How are you, dear?
Fine,
Nice
thank you.
to
How
see
are
you.
you?
You have something good for our guests?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. Here you are.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are hungry. I'm going to prepare a wonderful meal for you today. The meal that I'm going to be showing you guys how to cook today is called Mojito de Pescado, which translates into fish stew. It's originally from Venezuela, which is the country that I am from. Venezuela is a very, very large country, and it enjoys an abundance of seafood, freshwater fish, and vegetables. And a lot of distinctive cuisines come from that country because of that. So we have mojito, which is where that originated from. It's originally from most of the coastal parts of Venezuela, but it mainly originated from the island of Margarita. So to get started, I'm going to tell you first what it is that you're going to need. Any type of white fish, halibut, sea bass, any type of fish that is flaky. You're going to need a red bell pepper, a green bell pepper, a white onion. You can use green onions if you like, that's optional. 1 small tomato. We're going to need some chopped garlic and olive oil, and then your seasonings, which would consist of seasoned salt, regular salt, pepper, a little bit of oregano, a touch of curry, and raisins. So, what we start first is we get our fish boiling. We bring the water to a boil, and then you put the fish in. Fish takes just a few minutes to boil, maybe 5 at the most, depending on how much fish you're boiling. It doesn't take long, and you'll be able to tell because it turns white and gets flaky. So you get the fish started boiling, and then you dice all of your vegetables. So let's do that. We'll put our fish in the boiling water, and while we are letting the fish boil, we can get to chopping those vegetables. So that should take just a couple of minutes. I've already pre-chopped a few of the vegetables just so you guys will know, but I'll show you a little because we want to get them in really little pieces. You don't want them to be too big because the fish turns flaky, so you don't want the vegetables too much bigger than the fish size. So you cut them in little bitty small diced pieces. And then you chop them just like that, everything, the tomatoes, the onions, and the bell pepper. Then what you're going to do is we're going to put everything together in one. So let's get these together. And we have your onions, a little bit of green onion, and a little bit of tomato. So that's done. Put all these together in one. Then what we do is we heat a small fish bouillon cube. If you can't find fish, sometimes here it's hard to find it. You can use a chicken broth. It's mainly for the broth, and it adds a little bit of flavor. So you heat it up, you make sure that the bouillon cube dissolves completely, and then you add this to all of your vegetables. You can add a little bit more water as needed because you want this to be very juicy. Okay, it's supposed to be very juicy. When you add it to the fish, all the juices are supposed to soak into the fish. So that's why we want to make sure that it stays juicy. So we add a little bit more water, and you can also add water as you go, just to keep the juices flowing in it. All right, so we mix all this up together, and then you can add your spices to that. A little bit of seasoned salt. I don't do much measuring. I season to taste. That's how I grew up watching my mom do it. She didn't have measuring spoons and stuff, but I'll tell it's just a little. You don't have to do a lot. You add pepper, touch of pepper. You don't have to add much salt because the juice from the bouillon cube is salty enough, so you don't want to go overboard with it. A little bit of oregano leaves. And you can do a little touch of curry. It always adds a little flavor. And some paprika. That gives it a little bit more color. So, add these all together. Let them stir, and then you let them sit for a little while you're waiting on your fish to boil. Looks like it's coming along pretty nicely. While that's sitting and right before your fish is done, you can start to heat a little bit of olive oil, which I've already pre-done. A little bit of olive oil and some mashed garlic. We want a lot of garlic. It's supposed to have a lot of garlicky taste. And then you turn this on and you heat up the garlic to get the flavors out. You add your vegetables and then you add your fish. But after the fish finishes boiling, you have to drain it and then you have to chop it. You're not mushing it like mashed potatoes or anything. It's already going to be flaky, so it's going to come apart fairly easily. You can do it with a spoon. If your hands are clean, you can use your hand. However best suits you to do it. But that's what you do with the fish. Then you put everything together in one large skillet and you let it cook. All right, so our fish looks like it's ready. So we're going to take it out of here. Put it into this. Make sure try to drain it. I don't have a lot of water left on it. And see how it's flaky? It's flaky and it's going to be very easy to push apart. All right. So now we have the fish. We're going to mix all this stuff together, but first you just want to mush the fish. Make it come apart. You don't have to smush it, it just mashes apart like this. So once you have it like that, you're going to add it to the big skillet, which at this time I've already started heating the garlic with the oil in it. So we put our fish into here. And you're going to let it cook a little bit with the garlic. And then we're going to add all of our vegetables to it. It smells really good and garlicky right now. And it's very colorful. That's the best part. So everything mixed together. So you just let this cook for a little while and all the juices are going to soak up into the fish. You can come in and you can stir. Don't stir it a whole lot because you don't want the fish to mush together. You want it to stay flaky, but you do want to make sure to mix everything in one. So you can cover it back up. This should usually cook about 10 to 15 minutes. As this is cooking, you can add a little bit more spices to it. So we're going to add a little bit of paprika to it. Don't add much more salt because you already have enough, but we can add more oregano and some more pepper and some more seasoned salt because seasoned salt isn't as salty as regular salt. Okay, so there's the seasoned salt and pepper. So we'll stir the rest of this and then we're going to put the top on it and let it cook. Let all the juices soak into this fish. It's going to smell wonderful and it's going to taste even better. So that is set. We're going to cover it for a little while, let it cook. All right, so the cleaning's done and we are just about finished with our mojito. There's one last little finishing touch that I want to add to it. You can see how everything's soaked into the fish, so it's perfect. And then we sprinkle raisins on top of it. Right when it's almost ready, do a little raisins. Just adds a little bit of a different flavor to it. Okay, so you just sprinkle the raisins on it and it gives it a little bit of a different flavor, and that's right when it's almost ready. All right, I think we are done. Now this dish is usually served with some white rice and maybe a side salad or some plátanos, whatever you prefer. I've taken the liberty to cook up a little rice here for it so that we'll have something to eat it with. And we're all set. We have our famous Venezuelan mojito. Voila. Well, it looks good, doesn't it? It smells unbelievable. One last scoop, and we are ready. Get the spoon in. Voila, there you have it. Our famous Mojito de Pescado.